Hi everyone, and welcome back to Nattie's Nook, where you'll hear about books that could become your next best reads. If you missed last week's book, or you're just simply new to the channel, I really encourage you to go check out my first review or the last one that you happen to miss. The first review is called Channel Intro plus First Review, if you don't know what it's called, and I really encourage you to go and catch up on it. It was awesome. I also really encourage you to please stay updated because sometimes the plots could connect, the same author could be present, or they could just become your new favorite novel, and who wouldn't want that, especially for an avid reader like me. If you're not new to the channel and you're just waiting for this next review, sit back, relax, and enjoy the next look inside Nattie's Nook. Today's look inside the Nook will be about a novel called A Land of Permanent Goodbyes by Adia Abawi. Now, before I begin the review, I would like to give a huge shout out to Carol Fancher from Alan for recommending this novel. I would also like to give a huge thanks to everybody that has recommended a novel already. These novels have really helped me broaden my horizons, and I do like reading the novels that people suggest to me. So I would really encourage those who do have a read or two that they really enjoy to send them in, because others might like them too. Now, this novel has a 4.1 star rating on Goodreads, and I like to think of it as a historical fiction. Now, this novel doesn't have a clear genre, especially when I did some research on it, but you can kind of see within the first couple of pages, and even with the back of the book where it gives you a quick summary, that it kind of is a bit of a historical fiction. You don't know the time period, which is kind of unfortunate because it would make a lot more sense if we did, but you do get a really good idea of maybe when it could have taken place, because there's a lot of news around the place that this book has been investigating. Now, enough about prefacing the book, let's get into it. Now, this read is centered around a boy named Tariq, who is in his teens living in Syria. There we have it, it's in Syria. So if you're me, then which y'all aren't obviously, but if you think like I do, I think of Syria as war. Just W-A-R, war. It's a mess over there. There's a lot of people getting discriminated, a lot of persecution, a lot of violence, and it's really not a great place to be, especially for a family. Now, Tariq is definitely not one of the luckier ones either, because he loses half of his family in one of the most dangerous places to live in, the wartime of Syria, which I believe takes place around Aleppo area. Now, when he loses half of his family, he's left with no choice to get on the road as fast as he can. Now, getting on the road doesn't mean just leaving everything behind. A part of him is still left in Syria, even though he's technically considered a refugee now. With his father Fayed and his little sister Susan, the family is forced to pretty much leave behind everything that they've ever known to go to a place that might not even be as safe that might be even worse than Syria. Now, this novel is pretty gripping in the beginning because it starts off with a tragedy. Usually when novels start off with tragedies, I like to think that it pretty much prefaces the book the best you could do it because it gets the reader hooked. The hook, in my opinion, is one of the most important parts of a novel because it really gets the reader clipped into the storyline. Now, I would like to say that the novel kept its momentum as you read through it, but I can't because I feel like it slowed down a little bit. Once Tariq, Fayed, and Susan got on the road, they did meet people that were cool characters that I thought, but I felt like that the momentum kind of slowed down a little bit. I feel like the storyline was moving slower, and I feel like they kind of drew out parts that weren't exactly meant to be drawn out in the first place. Now, nevertheless, I do give it a 4-star rating because I liked the novel itself. I thought that the topic was very well written, and the author, Adia Abawi, actually was a refugee herself, meaning she can incorporate a couple of things that she remembered from when she was a refugee into the writing into the novel that you wrote about. Now, I recommend this novel for people who want to learn a little bit more about Syria and also want just a cool read. I'm not saying that the book is completely as slow as a snail, but I wouldn't expect one of those page turners that keeps you waiting for hours and hours at a time. I've had reads in the past that haven't wanted me to quit, so I've been stuck on my couch for about 2 hours at a time or more reading novels that I couldn't put down. A Land of Permanent Goodbyes was one that I could put down, and that is a good thing because at least I didn't have, it wasn't so obsessive, but I did want it to be a little bit more fast. So I recommend this book for people who want a more subtle read that will tug at your heart a little bit and show you what real pain looks like. If you like this review, please click the like button below as well as the subscribe button to show that you liked this video. If you're interested in recommending a book, please refer to the details at the very end of the video for instructions. Stay tuned for the next look inside the Nook. Thanks for watching!